Newfoundland.
Right.
So I'm in the industry of restaurants for the longest time. When I graduated political science, and I went to law school, but God has another plan for me. So I ended up of involving in the restaurants, and that's the ticket for me to go here. So in 2012, one of the restaurant here in Canada, in Newfoundland, St. John's, uh, hired me. That was 2012. And then I came back in 2016 to get my children, and you're part of it. You even, you're one of the person who, welcomed us in the airport. Remember those days?
Yes, I
So
do.
it was really thank you so
Yeah.
much
Oh.
for you are part of our journey because it really give us so much support.
Yeah, well, it was definitely a pleasure because I know mothers always want to be with their children. So,
That's really
yeah,
true.
when
Like
we,
I'm a single mom of
Mhm.
four, and you
Right,
know my
yes,
children.
yes, yeah.
Uh, that's really they are my blessings. I'm very very grateful to have them.
Yes, yeah.
And of course, my Amirali,
Yes,
you are also part of the journey of my granddaughter.
yes. Yes,
So,
most definitely. The next generation, right,
yes,
of Canadians here in
that's
Newfoundland
true.
and Labrador.
So
Yeah.
back in 2000, before 2012, when I applied for St. John's job, everyone in the Philippines asking, my friends asking why you need to go there. You have a rewarding career here in the Philippines. But you know what, Lloydetta, I am more of the concern for me is for the future of my children and the future generation of my grandchildren and grandchildren. It's I look beyond my lifetime. The opportunity that I had in the Philippines might not be the same for my children and for their children. The first month here was really I cried. I walk. I walk and during snow. I said, "What am I doing here?" I was already in the middle management back home. I was driving my own car. I had but it was more of sacrifice for the future of my children. It was not an easy journey, but looking back now after 10 years, it's worth it. And God and a lot of people like you are part of my journey.
Well, you were such a lovely person when we met that we couldn't resist being a support for you and
Thank
making sure
you.
that this was a welcoming place that you could feel at home, even though we knew you were really missing being in the Philippines and your family, extended
Yeah.
family and friends, and that was a difficult time. But it's nice to know that that's behind you now.
Yeah, yeah, and I am really also grateful that we came here in this beautiful St. John's. The people here are so welcoming. That I cannot recall that I felt that I'm lesser individual, nor my children also. We have equal opportunities here. I'm always grateful to St. John's, to Newfoundland, and to Canada.
Yes.
That's why last week I went to Montreal. As soon as the plane landed in our airport, I said, "This is home." It feels to be back home.
Right, yes. And it's nice when you can make that transition because many of us, when we come here, we still long for home where we were born. But it takes, like you're saying, the support, the welcome to get to that place where you feel, this is home now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a big part of it is because my children are already here and my granddaughter, and they are my world, right? So, but before 2016, it was really hard, alone here, away from them. But God is really good all the time.
Right.
So we are now, we have a lot still dreams to conquer,
yeah. Right.
but we are okay now in so many ways. My two children are in MAN.
Okay.
One is doing accountancy. She's also an HR in an IT company while doing a full-time as a student.
She's
And
as hardworking as her mother. I know where she got that from.
and then
Yeah.
my youngest taking also taking nursing also in MAN, while doing also full-time job. And two of my children also are doing full-time job because as soon as they got here, 2016, I already taught them to become financially independent. I said, this is not Philippines anymore. This is St. John's. This is Canada. You have to pay everything. So it's like all the expenses in the house equally divided.
Yes.
Because I told them that I'm a single mom. What if one day someone will happen to me? At least you're all prepared. You can stand on your own. I would not be worrying about you guys.
Yeah. And they've actually lived up to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So pandemic was really hard, but this is also pandemic also. We were able to purchase a house, a 6-bedroom house during pandemic.
Whoa, congratulations.
I know. Like sometimes you have to see the silver lining in that situation, you know.
Yes.
So I said, God, you know, whatever is your plan for me and for my children, then let it be done, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's really a proven thing to me.
And it is an investment, really, because that is something that you own and
Yeah.
the children can have and they can benefit from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they are now like, Mom, my youngest said, Mom, I don't have even credit card, but I am so much in debt right now.
How did that happen?
Like in our fridge, there's a list of grocery. It's divided by 6. There's a list of whatever expense. It's always divided by 6. So I said, Mom, I'm only 17 years old, 18 years old. That was 3 years ago. He was complaining, but I said, no, I'm teaching you how to become independent. And that's the only thing one of the only thing that I can, you know, have you, aside from being integrity. I always tell my children, our name, we don't have money, we are not rich, but you as a person will reflect me as your mom. And I always value integrity, the name of my name. So I said to them, do not be engaged in any situation that will make me, you know, cry or.
Yes.
But thank God, they are all in God's grace. Life is not perfect. Nobody is like, no, I don't think there is a single person in the world that has a perfect life. But we have ups and downs, our lows and highs, but at the end of the day, it's always communication and accepting and negotiating and, you know, so many, what do you call this, compromising. So, at the age of 50, I just turned 50, by the way.
Oh, congratulations.
That's Saturday.
Oh, congratulations. So I guess that's the celebration in Montreal.
Yes,
Oh,
I love traveling. Yeah. Like before pandemic, I went to Chicago also and also Florida. It's always like that because that's my me time.
Right. Yes.
And my reward for myself. Because I'm always like saying you need also your me time, self-care, right? Because I believe that before you can pour other cups, your cup should be filled first.
Yes.
And that's my thing. Like if I need some rest, I need to have that rest, so that I will be able to inspire my children first of all, and others. Last week, my eldest daughter, Patricia, had an interview for a promotion at Delta Hotel. So she had this interview with her director of sales. And she said, Mom, good thing I was being trained by a strong person like you.
That's a great compliment.
So she said, like, I'm able to be, to be myself during the interview. And she got the job.
Yes. Oh, great. That's such good news.
Yeah.
But I know in being involved so much with your children, that you're also involved as a community leader here.
Yes, right. Through the help of Ate Hazel, you know
Yes,
Hazel,
Hazel,
right?
Yes.
So she asked me to join the Multicultural Association of Women in Newfoundland. And I'm really, really honored also. So today, like this afternoon, we had this coffee and chat with the seniors. So I walked through them how to do coffee tasting. And everyone was really enjoying. Like I told them, like there are 4 steps of doing coffee tasting. First, you say like you have to smell the coffee, smell it. Like the second step is to slurp. Like the more you create the sounds of slurping, the more it's better. And then since they are seniors, no, it's against what our mother said. We have to be like not to be noisy when we're drinking the coffee. So that's all right. So and then the third one, I said to them, locate in your tongue the taste of the coffee. And then the fourth step is describe. So, and everyone was saying, they appreciated what we had this afternoon there. Said they said it's a new experience for seniors. And I even had like a game. I said, I bought a color changing cups from my store. I said, I have a prize here, and I want everyone to play along with me.
Right, yes.
So I'm looking forward to be involved more in the community. And for the company that I am working right now, also supports nonprofit organization and community activities. Last month, we went to Topsail Beach together with Amira Lee, my granddaughter. We pick up some garbages in the beach.
Yeah.
And one of my friend also, a peer, she went yesterday to a nursing home to have like afternoon snacks for the seniors there. So working in this kind of company that really supports the community as a whole, it so much gives fulfillment. Last month, I had this raffle in my little store. We were able to generate amounts, like not so big, but still a big one. We donated it to Choices for Youth. And this month, I also had some donations. We had some also donations for the Valor, the Quilt for Valor.
Yes.
So those are the small activities, and that gives so much fulfillment as a person, as a part of this community. Being an immigrant here in Canada, I owe so much. I'm always grateful for what I have right now and for what my children has. That's why whatever I could give back to the community, I will always be willing to do it.
And
So
you've done that so well. And we really appreciate you being in our community.
thank
you
you
so much, and thank you for taking the time to be with me today.
Thank you so much.
Okay, then you're welcome. And Sharing Our Cultures will be right back. Welcome back to Sharing Our Cultures. And joining me in conversation now is Nicole Obiodiaka, and I'm just dying to find out all what she's going to tell us. Welcome, Nicole.
Hi, thank you for having me
Yeah,
today.
It's great to have you here. I've been looking forward to this for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'd like to find out, how did you come to Newfoundland Labrador? Like, well, what was your journey like here, and why did you come?
So I came to Newfoundland and Labrador in the summer of 2019, so it's actually going to be 3 years this month. So I came here for my studies. I studied business at Memorial University of Newfoundland, so that's what brought me to this beautiful province. And during my time here, I've been very involved within the Black community to hopefully make some changes and to provide a safe space on campus and also off campus as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that associated with an organization on campus? Can
Yes.
you tell us a bit about that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm currently the president of the Black Students Association at MUN. So that is the association that provides services for students on campus. And we also attempt to do a couple of initiatives on a wider scale outside of the memorial community. Yeah.
So can you tell me a couple of those initiatives that
Yeah,
you've done?
sure. So we've recently just hosted Newfoundland's first ever Black-owned, Newfoundland and Labrador's first ever Black-owned vendor market. We did that at St. John's Farmers Market. So that was more of our, I guess, wider initiatives. And on campus, we've hosted career fairs, we've hosted clothing drives, we've hosted events, just things to bring the Black community together and to create a safe space. So that's a brief overview.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Very brief.
Yes.
So how many people are involved in the organization in terms of the leadership and
Yes.
then members in the organization?
Yeah, so in terms of the leadership, top of my head, I think we have about 9 executive members. So we all come together and work really hard throughout the entire school year. And in terms of our members, it's a bit hard to gauge, but just going off our Instagram followers, I'm going to say almost 1,000. So right now we are at 960, yeah,
Wow.
which is pretty huge. And
Okay.
it keeps growing every day because new Black people keep coming to the province and following us and asking us questions. So it's a growing community.
Oh, wow. I
Yes.
wouldn't have thought there were that many.
Yeah.
Okay. And these are people who are identifying as Blacks
Yes.
within the community?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, you have been busy. I know you're studying, but I was actually very interested in your CBC series on her story.
Yes.
Yes.
So her story was a really, really huge passion project, and it was very important for me because when I came into Newfoundland and Labrador in 2019, I'm sure that there were a lot of established people or just role models to look up to. However, it wasn't exactly directly marketed to me, or like it wasn't in my face. Like I had to like go out and like research for who I could go to for certain things. And I thought that with the growing population that we have right now, it would be really important to have a series that they could easily search up to like see inspiring Black women in Newfoundland and Labrador who are making an impact, to serve as role models for them as they go on in their journey. Because it's definitely very, very important not only to have role models, but to have people who look like you, inspire you, and will hopefully motivate the people coming in to continue the work that some of these inspiring women like yourself have already done.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was your criteria for choosing? Because there's so many women, so many
Yes.
Black women who are doing so many great things. So how did you choose? Like, did you sort of have a list and that you checked up for each one? Or like, yeah, so you'd research.
Yeah. I didn't necessarily, I guess, have a list per se. So for example, Barb Walsh, I work with her in the ANC on the Black Voices Collective. And so she was an inspiration to me personally. So it was more from an interpersonal perspective. So just women that I had seen active in the community that I looked up to and that I was inspired by. So I guess that was the quote unquote category
Right.
for how these women were chosen.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. And it's great that these women were highlighted and
Yes.
featured, because I know there are other organizations that feature women, but they're not
Yes.
necessarily Black women.
Yeah.
So what do you think would be the best way for the province, for the community, to support Black women in their endeavors, whether it's their studies or career or just being productive and contributing to the society here?
So I think one step is to recognize, because when you recognize women who are making a strong impact, it serves as some form of motivation for them to do more. And outside of recognition, for those who maybe have that idea within them, is to provide some sort of free education or training or something that's just more accessible, where people can foster the skills needed to be where they want to be, like leadership training or media training or just things like that that would come together and help them to fulfill what they want to do in the future. I think that that would be very, very important and highly beneficial.
So
Yeah.
do you think that that's not already existed here in the province?
Well, where I'm fairly new, so to the
Okay.
best of my knowledge, I'm not seeing anything that's, I guess, directly tailored towards the Black community per se. It might be there in like the general sense, but some little things might have to be like tweaked and adjusted to suit the Black community. So it might be there already, just that I'm not personally aware of just yet.
Yes,
So
okay.
yeah.
So even if it's there, it has to be more the information needs to be
Yes.
more out there,
Yes.
so people don't have to go searching for
Yes.
it. They can sort of find it and find the supports that they're looking for.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to just go back now to your studies.
Yes.
So are you completing that, or have you completed it? And
So
so where
I'm-
are you in the process, and where are you planning to take it from here?
So we're almost done. I complete my degree in December, so in the coming fall I'll be done with my degree. And after that, I'm currently working with the Business Development Bank of Canada, so that's BDC. So I will be working with them after graduation, so it's really exciting.
Oh, wow, yes, and
Yes.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Not many people get to work with the
Yeah.
BDC. So that's really great that you're doing that. So
Thank you.
how do you think that the province can make it, the space here, more welcoming for the Black community? Because I mean, we're increasing in number,
Yeah.
and we want everyone to stay
Yes.
here. And so what do you think could be done? What more do you think could be done?
So I think I would prefer to speak from the student perspective, just because that's where I guess I identify with the
Yes,
most.
yeah.
I would say that there needs to be a Black Students Association for across Newfoundland. So not just Memorial University, like there needs to be a more general organization, and that way it's an easier point of contact for people who not only live in St. John's, but in Corner Brook, in Grand Falls, so they can all come together, and hopefully there can be some form of, I guess, sponsorship, so that the community or the association has the resources that it needs to host as many ongoing and frequent events to really bring the community together and to help develop some skills that the students might have. I think that would be a great incentive for anyone looking in to come into the province to be able to easily identify that. At least it would have helped me if I had that. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So when you arrived here first as a student, so you came here to study at MUN?
Yes.
Right. So
Yeah.
what was that experience like for you?
It was a little bit difficult, I will be honest, especially where I came in the summer, so it wasn't very active in terms of like fall welcome week and things such as that. It was really hard for me to find people who look like me. So it was definitely a very, very hard transition. I always say this story. I was asked like, oh, like how can I meet more people? And I was told to go to church, which is very interesting. I was like, really, church? And they were like, yeah, and it was right. And that's where I met most of the friends that I had today. But I'm really grateful for the Black Student Association, because if I had that coming in, it would have been much easier for me to like go to and to, you know, to connect and to socialize and to make connections much easier than having to go through other means. So that's how my experience was. I made the best out of it, and I've worked on some initiatives so that people coming in would have an easier transition than I did.
Which
Yeah.
is really important, and
Yes.
we do appreciate the leadership that you have undertaken in so many areas, especially for the Black community,
Yes.
and especially creating role models, as you said, and
Yes.
mentors within the student body at Memorial, but we'd like to see this right across
Yes.
the province.
And that is, oh, sorry, go
No,
ahead.
no, that's okay. No, go ahead.
Yeah, and that is something that it's a new initiative with CFSNL. So that's the Canadian Federation of Students for Newfoundland and Labrador. So they recently, we now have a Black student representative, which is myself. So that's, like, I guess, a step in the right direction to have representation for across the entire province.
Okay, so this is a national
Yes.
organization
Yes.
for Black students?
For students
For
in
students
general,
in
but now they
general.
have a Black student representative, which can, I guess, voice the opinions for the Black community.
Okay. And you are that representative?
Yes.
Whoa. Congratulations. You're
Thank
going places.
Thank
I
you.
really like that.
Thank you.
Because sometimes I think we're so far east that when everything's happening in the mainland or across Canada, sometimes Newfoundland Labrador gets left out, or
Yeah.
the Atlantic province gets left out. So it's great to know that we do have a voice around the table.
Yes.
And that is key, that we need to hear the voices of Black people. So where else do you think this could be made possible?
That's a great question. I'm not exactly too familiar with all the bodies, but I would say if there's any decision body that's going to have an impact on the lives of students or just people in general, you can't exactly make those decisions without having the voice representing every single community member. So in any body like that, there definitely needs to be a Black representative because we have different needs than the general community would have. Same thing for another minority group as well. So that's extremely important to be sure that everyone's voices are heard when making important decisions.
I hear you, and
Yeah.
I hear that. And I hear you saying representation matters,
Yes.
particularly in areas of leadership,
Yes.
because that's where everyone's going to be looking up to who's making the decisions
Yes.
around the table.
Yeah.
Okay, so how many episodes of that series did you have? How many?
We had 4.
4.
Yes.
Oh, what is your next plan? You must have a plan after that.
That's a great
Yeah,
question. So there
okay.
is something in the works right now. It's not
Okay.
fully finalized yet, but keep an eye out.
Oh, that's all you're going to tell me,
That's
right?
all I can say for now.
That's all you can say for now. All right.
Yeah.
I think I'll have to learn a little bit more patience and, and hang on to the suspense.
Yeah.
But will it be Black women, or will it be in the Black community?
A part of it will be centered around the Black community. I'll give you that.
You give me that much. All right. I'll be looking forward to that. And,
Yeah.
and most certainly it would be really nice to get more visibility, because
Yes.
as the number of Blacks increase and our community grows, it'd be really great to see a certain level of integration
Yes.
within the community as well, because
Yes.
that's where our voices get heard. We
Yes.
get an opportunity
Yeah.
to say who we are. So any final word? We only have a minute or so left.
Okay, I guess my final word would be for anyone who's watching today. If you have a goal or a passion or something that you want to achieve, no matter how wild that thing might be, I would say go for it, because you never know what impact that's going to make within your community or even for yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wise words,
Yeah.
well spoken. Well, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
I've really enjoyed this conversation.
Me
I
too.
wish we could go on, go on for further. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sharing Our Cultures will be right back. Thank you to Analee and to Nicole and to you for joining us today. Join us again next time and hear the stories from remarkable individuals from around the world who've come to call this place home.
If you want convenience, Marie's Money Mart is here for you. A one-stop shop for a variety of products, home-style breads, sandwiches, plus check out our freshly baked artisan breads and